This is Tabby here from tabbies.ca, and today on Unique Artisans we have a very unique interview with Khaileb from Outlandish Attire. Hi, Khaileb.
Hey,
So, can you tell us a bit about what you are going to do?
so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to thrift clothing from like Valley Village and Frenchies, and I'm going to print my own designs onto them, and so I'll be doubling the lifespan of what would most likely end up in a landfill.
That's actually a great thing. So, not only is your work going to be very environmentally friendly, but it really has that artistic approach.
Yeah.
So, do you design the artwork that's going on your shirts?
Yep.
What kind of artwork do you usually use?
So I've kind of put my own label on it. It's kind of my own style, but I call it like gothic cartoon. So
Okay.
it's like little like skulls and kind of stuff that would be like creepy or gothic or whatever, but it's like cartoony.
Okay.
So
So kind of cute killer.
yeah, kind of.
Okay. I like it. Um, so right now you're just creating your business.
Yep.
So you're working here with the Idea Center to kind of work as a jumping board into your business.
Yep.
I know you have an Instagram account and you have an email. So if somebody wanted something, would they just be able to contact you?
Yep. I think it would be most easy to contact me through my Instagram just on in DMs.
Okay. And a lot of artists, I have found a lot of artists end up working this way where they are, the majority of their business is done through word of mouth. It is kind of difficult to get into the online scene if you aren't already there with a following. So you're using screen printing, is that right?
Yep. Um. Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand what screen printing is. Can you explain how screen printing works?
So, well, there's screen printing and then there's direct to garment printing, and that's when you actually have like a big machine and it like prints on it like an actual printer. But screen printing is when you take take a stencil and you put the ink directly on it with like and you scrape the ink right onto the shirt, and I find it has like a more authentic look, and I just like how it looks better. So,
Okay. So the screen printing, does it last longer than the direct to print?
I don't know if it lasts longer than the direct to print, but it's definitely like washer safe and dryer safe, and it's I'm pretty sure most companies use screen printing if they're trying to get uh, like large amounts done.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So how do you create the image in the screen?
um, you print. It's actually kind of complicated. You have to get like a certain type of plastic screen,
Okay.
and it has to have like the special coating on it. So it's like an inkjet thing.
Yeah.
And you print it onto there, and then you put emulsion onto a screen.
Okay.
And sorry, it's a long process. It's a little bit hard to explain, but you like burn the image onto the plastic screen into the
Okay.
emulsion, and then wash out the excess, and it creates like a stencil.
Okay. Where the dye can go through the screen
Yeah.
into the fabric.
Yeah.
So then if you wanted multiple colors, you'd have to do that multiple times.
Yeah, you'd have to either create like multiple of the same stencil so you
Okay.
can get it like lined up perfectly,
Okay.
or I guess you could just rewash the same one over and over. But yeah,
Okay. That sounds like a lot of work.
yeah, it's a long process. Um, if I were to do it all in one day, it'd probably have to be like rise and shine to night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many shirts would you make in that time?
Um, well, the real process is like waiting for stuff to dry and stuff like that. So
Okay.
as soon as I can I get to the point where I'm actually printing onto the shirts, I can just go bam, bam, and go through a couple of them. So just as many as I want with that same design.
Okay, so right now is the hardest part, though, where you're building your screens and making your designs into what you want. to
Yeah.
show up on the t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of fabric are you looking for when you go thrifting?
Um, I'm not really looking for any specific type of fabric. Um, I guess I like thicker fabrics. I'm really picky about like when stuff is thin, so I like it to be thicker. But I mean, if someone says like, "Hey, can you make thinner stuff?" I'll make thinner stuff. But
Well, that does make
yeah,
sense though. Using fabrics that are thrifted, you want something that's thicker, something that's more
yeah,
durable because you want that longevity in your product.
exactly.
So I know you're a student here at the Idea Center,
Mm-hmm.
and you're building your business here. Um, have you ever run a business before?
Besides like a little entrepreneurship thing we did in like middle school now.
Okay. So how do you feel about building this business?
I was nervous at first, but the Idea Center has definitely brought me a lot more confidence. It's like enlightening being in this class. You learn a lot. So
And I really love this program. Like both of my children went through the Idea Center. I have one who is an alumni of the Idea Center, and I have one that's currently going through the program. So it is really a wonderful place for you to kind of learn to become a business person.
yeah, for sure.
So I know you're just starting out, but like, how did you learn about screen printing? How did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
Excuse me. Well, I started off just looking at what are the ways to print onto shirts.
Yep.
And the first one that came out was heat press. And I know people do that for small stuff, but it's not very good quality and doesn't last very long.
Heat press. Is that similar to the Cricut vinyl cuttings?
I think so. It's like where you take a picture and I think you literally just like press it on with heat.
Okay. Okay.
You get like you get like transfer paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about there. Yep.
I don't know about that one because I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that one.
Okay.
It sounded really cheap, and I've seen stuff that's heat press, and I mean, it's good for smaller stuff, but I wanted
Not
my stuff
something-
to be higher quality.
No, I agree. And having a better quality product is going to get you better customers, people who come back.
Exactly.
You definitely don't want to have a substandard quality in your product and then expect to be able to move forward with it. So what kind of hopes do you have for this? Like, are you hoping after school you can have like a brick and mortar thing, or are you looking to be exclusively online?
I'm not really sure yet. I want to try and do some stuff in person,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm going to get most of my sales online. I'm definitely going to try and focus online,
Okay.
but I want to also keep it local. Like I want to make my community local. You know what I mean?
Yep, I understand that.
It was a very like all of the places we have for fashion here in St. John are mostly like H&M and Urban Planet, which are all like cheap fast fashion, and I just
Yeah.
there's not unless you want to look through a thrift store for an hour, which a lot of people don't have the time for.
Yep.
Then there's not really a lot of options for good clothes, especially like with like graphic t-shirts and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So
No, and that's right, because it is hard. And working, like, going through the thrift store is actually a lot of work to try to find the right sizes and what you're looking for. And sometimes the quality is not quite there. So this is perfect because it's already vetted by you.
yeah.
And then you add your own personal touch.
Yeah, I love thrifting, but I know a lot of people hate it, and I also love art. So I was like, oh, I'll combine my two favorite things.
That's a great way to do it. You know, it's hard sometimes to find a way to make your art work in such a way that you can make money with it.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing you learn at the Idea Center is that you can basically make a business out of anything, as long as you're passionate about it and you know that you have the skills to.
Yep. So your artwork is work that you create
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So do you draw it or do you paint it? Like, how do you create your work?
Well, I sketch it into a little sketchbook, and then what I do is I just take a picture of that and I copy it onto like Photoshop, and then
Okay.
I like trace it and put it online so I can print it out,
Okay.
and then yeah, I put it onto the plastic screen like I explained, and
So, how long have you been drawing?
drawing years, probably since I was like really little, like 4 probably. I still have sketchbooks from when I was really really young, because
Oh,
I've always been like, always keep your art because you
yep.
can see how far you've come.
No, that's a great way to do it because you do advance. Whether you're trying to or not,
Yeah.
your art will mature with you.
Yeah, sometimes if I'm feeling down about my art, I'll go back and look at stuff from like a year ago, and I'm like, oh my god.
That's actually a really good tip
Hmm.
because a lot of artists, when they create art they like to dispose of it. So they don't
Yeah,
have to see it anymore, it doesn't bother them anymore. But that's not always the best way to do it because if you are able to look back at that art, you'll feel better about the new stuff you're making now.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, sometimes I even do that, but usually just with like really small things. Like if I was doing a base sketch and I just could not get it, I'm like, yeah, this is like out of my sketchbook. But if I do a full thing and I don't like it, I'm just like, oh, I'll just leave it there. I just won't look at it, and then you'll come back to it and you'll realize that you improved.
Yep. No, I know that from when I do my painting. Like there's been lots of paintings that I've made that I look at and I'm like, I just hate it. I can't stand it. And I set it at the back of my paintings. I have a shelf at home and I literally have my paintings, my canvas paintings sitting there. And then I have a bunch on like watercolor paper that are in there. But the ones I don't like, I kind of hide in there so I don't have to look at them.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
I do try to give away my art too because I like other people to enjoy it. Um, so, what inspires you to make your art? Like, I know you said it was kind of gothic, cartoony. What inspires you?
What inspires me? A lot of different things. Um, I guess just fashion in general. I've always really liked fashion,
Okay.
and I mean, graphic tees are always something that I've really enjoyed. But I've always wanted to have my own thing, and for a long time I wasn't into fashion,
Okay.
and I would draw little characters and they would have like fashion, so then I was kind of like, why am I not doing this? Like, why am I not dressing this way? Like,
Okay.
I,
Yeah. No, that's true.
yeah. So I I like the idea that I can draw something on my characters and then I can make that myself and wear it. So
Yeah, that would actually be pretty unique. Watching it go from an idea in your mind to a sketch on paper to something you can physically wear.
yeah.
That's really unique, actually. I like that. So, Idea Center started in September for you.
Yes.
So, is that when you kind of put two and two together about how you'd like to wear your art?
No.
Okay.
There was a as many there most people don't come in. I mean, a lot of people do, but most people go through a lot of different things. I was actually in the process kind of doing something animation related,
Okay.
and I don't know how to animate. It was a long process to try and get me working on a drawing tablet because I wanted to just dabble with it and see if I liked it.
Okay.
And I messed around with it a little bit, and before I knew it, the final week where we had to have our project decided was coming up, and I was like, oh crap, I do not like this enough to like
Oh
settle on
no.
this. So I talked to Mr. Van Beek, and yeah, he was like, you can always just go to back to fashion. And I was like, you know what, like I think that's what I like want to do. And pretty much right after I made that decision, I like felt like happier. I felt more like confident about my idea. So I was like, yeah, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah, and a lot of times with art, anything artistic, really you have to go with your gut. It's what
Yeah,
feels good and what sits well with you.
definitely.
So that's really exciting. You must have been so frantic at the end there,
Yes.
not sure what you were going to do and realizing this idea wasn't something that actually helped you.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that was really stressful. But But the good thing about Mr. Van Beek is he's really good at talking it out with you and helping you figure stuff out. So.
And just so you know, Mr. Van Beek is actually the teacher here at the Idea Center in St. John. He is phenomenal. He
For sure.
really helps the students kind of stretch and grow. And I know with my own children, I've watched them just flourish under his guidance. So he's a great guy, and the program he's running is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So Khaileb, your name is Outlandish Attire.
Mm-hmm.
Attire kind of is self-explanatory, but where did you get the name Outlandish?
Well, my last name is Land, Land, and I was like, this is kind of funny.
Okay.
But as a kid, I always thought Land would be really easy to make into like a YouTube channel name or like a business name.
Okay.
So when I was coming up with something, I was like, think of something with land in it. And well, my stuff is supposed to be unique, and outlandish kind of means unique or weird.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of fun, and yeah, I chose outlandish.
That's awesome.
And I also really like, this is kind of a stretch, but it's something in my mind that I like. Outlandish is kind of a really in-your-face word.
I agree.
And my business is like anti-fast fashion, and so it's kind of against the tide a little bit. So I kind of like that. It's a fitting name.
I agree. I very much agree. You're right. Like outlandish, when I think of outlandish, I think of kind of on the fringes, like do you know what I mean? Like it's not quite, it's unique and it's its own, it's just a little bit out there.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I like what you're talking about kind of standing up to fast fashion. Unfortunately, there's thousands of pounds of textiles that end up in the garbage every year because of fast fashion.
It's terrible.
It is. It really is, and it's a horrible weight on the environment, and it's not even very economical anymore for you to continue to buy fast fashion clothes. So this is kind of a great way for people to really support an artist, keep their environmental footprint to a minimum in regards to their textiles, and also to support someone local here in St. John.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's great. So are you hoping that you can build this to a point that this is your career?
I guess we'll see where it goes. I think I want to go to like post-secondary for like art or fashion stuff.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure yet. I joined the Idea Center. I hopped on it immediately, actually. I've never made a decision that quick in my life. Just because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I also kind of wanted to have my own unique kind of thing. I thought it would be kind of cool. So
okay.
Whether or not it turns out, I guess depends on how much I enjoy making the shirts and selling them.
So you said you did a market once, like little markets in the school and stuff?
Yeah.
So did you do face-to-face selling then?
Yep.
So what did you think of face-to-face selling? Because it's a completely different ball game than doing online selling.
Yeah. Well, I don't think my experience in a middle school entrepreneurship thing where we were making little campfire kits.
Okay.
And it was kind of robotic because
yep.
I'm pretty sure my friend's parents showed up and bought like all 10 of them. But it was very much like, here you go. So if I were selling something I was actually passionate about, I'm sure it'd be much different. But
so you didn't have to engage anyone that came over to your booth or anything?
Not a whole lot. We like I said, his parent kind of came over and bought everything. So
that's one of the good things about being a kid, though, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're a kid, your parents kind of support you and stuff. But
would have been a better experience if I actually had to like kind of sell to people, though.
So what do you think about the prospect of selling to people? Because once you're done this, you're not going to be just online. You're going to go locally to markets and such.
Yeah, I want to try and do that.
So how do you feel about pitching to people and trying to close?
As to like talking to people and trying to convince them to buy my stuff, that sounds kind of fun actually. Especially being at a market and having my stuff, most likely the people who will see my funky skulls on my shirts and stuff are going to be people who like that kind of stuff. So even then, just having a conversation will be fun if they don't buy anything.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it sounds fun.
I can definitely attest to that because I know when I do my markets, I love talking to people about the art. So, like, I make purses and such, and I love talking to people about the pictures that I chose for my medallions and how I outlined them with my machine and,
Yeah.
how it came together from these couple pieces of fabric to this beautiful purse. So, I totally appreciate what you're saying there about it being fun to engage everyone. It
Yeah.
really is. As long as talking to people is something that is interesting to you, it's something that you enjoy, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. It's definitely it's weird because I can talk to people fine, but like
Yeah.
presenting in front, as soon as it's a presentation, I can't.
But that comes with practice.
Yeah, that's true.
So you were saying something that you thought out like that land would be a good name for like YouTube or something. So do you do YouTube at all?
No, it's something. I feel like my generation, every kid grew up wanting to be a YouTuber, but
That's kind of par for the course, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
we all grew up with our Minecraft YouTubers and want to be just like that guy.
Yeah, and it is, YouTube is really an interesting platform. So like once you get your stuff all set up, you said you're going to go to the woodworking shop. Eventually, you're going to move from the idea center here to the school working shop to do your.
Not really completely. It's just I need a larger space to get everything done and have like a place for the stuff to dry and stuff.
Okay.
So the wood shop is just where I thought would be best, and yeah, I'll probably drive all my stuff there, do a run, and then just bring it back so it's not sitting in a school because that's kind of dangerous because
Yeah.
kids like to vandalize and steal stuff.
That's actually pretty true. Have you thought about maybe making YouTube videos of the process?
Not YouTube videos, but I think I might try and make TikToks or Instagram reels.
Ooh, that's a great idea. That's
Yeah.
like the next hot thing now.
Hmm.
Everyone's into the news. Even I find myself watching the little news
Oh, yeah.
reels,
Those are specifically designed to keep you on there. It's short intervals of validation, and that's why the videos are so short.
Yeah, and from a psychology standpoint, they do a really good job of keeping you focused.
Yeah.
So I guess one thing that I usually ask my artists, which is kind of funny because you are an emerging artist, I usually ask people what they would say to any emerging artist. So being that you are an emerging artist, what kind of advice would you give to someone who is maybe thinking about becoming an artist, or maybe they're sitting on the fence about an idea they have, or maybe they know what they want but they're just too scared to get it?
Well, first of all, if you have access to the Idea Center, join the Idea Center. Like I would, I actually joined the Idea Center because I don't like school.
Okay.
So like, I'm not the type to be like, yeah, take this class, but like, this is different. It's so good. Other than that, I guess experiment. Don't feel like you should be stuck to one thing once you start it, and just try and do what you're passionate about.
I agree with you. Following your passion is probably the most important thing you could possibly do for yourself and your life. You know, a business withstanding, following your heart and your passion, it's probably the best advice anyone can have.
And I mean, going outside of your comfort zone is always good for practice and such, but if you really enjoy one thing and you enjoy it so much that you want to make an idea or a business out of it, then you should probably just get a head start and jump on it. It's never too early.
That's true. That's really true. I know my oldest son started selling hot chocolate at the market when he was a young teen, like not very old. And they came with me to markets right when they were little, and he caught the entrepreneurial bug. And I mean, even now he's 20 and he has 2 businesses. Like he's a very entrepreneurial minded person. So I think you're right. Like, it's never too early.
Yeah, and it's never too late either.
Exactly. That's so true. So many times, like, people in my age group are like, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm too old for that. I'm past doing that." And that's not true. I mean, I went to school for social work, and during that class, I had people in their 70s that were taking that program and are currently working as social workers. Like, it's a,
Yeah.
you know, people really should just follow their hearts.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you've been like doing a job or something for a long time and you want to try some new stuff, just if you can, go do it. Like,
That's true. And if you don't immediately know how, start talking to people about what you want. Start looking for the door of opportunity, because it probably exists and you're probably just not looking for it the right way.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, Google's always there. People
That's true.
people don't use Google enough.
That's true. It's really true. People use Google for cat pictures and dog
And
pictures.
very very simple things. What does this mean? But like, if you're trying to get into something and you want to get into it, I mean, first thing you should always do is research it.
That's true. That is really true. And that's probably something that you learned here at the Idea Center too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I have anything else I wanted to ask you. So you're building this as a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you hoping to be a full-fledged business by the end of the Idea course? Is that how that...
I want to be trying. I want to definitely like have stuff and be able to sell it.
Yep.
By the end of the Idea Center course, which is coming up really soon. But it depends on what you consider a full-fledged business, I guess.
Well, a full-fledged business to me is that you have the idea of what you want to do, you have your product being made, and you're selling it.
Then yeah, by the end of the semester, I'm hoping to be a full-fledged business.
That's exciting. Really exciting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully this takes off for you and you can screen print your way into success.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, Khaileb. It's been really nice to meet you and to talk to you about Outlandish Attire and what you're doing for the community and for the environment. Like, I love that what you're doing is based on the things you love, art and fashion, but also helping the environment. Like, there's a lot more to this than just creating art.
Yeah. I feel like I was kind of under the mindset at the start that if my business is so small, it couldn't make an impact on like fast fashion. But I feel like if one less person stops buying fast fashion because of my business, then that's an impact enough.
That's actually a great way to be, right? Like, we all need to make great strides to help protect the environment. And how better to do it than support someone, an up-and-coming
Exactly.
business person. I love this. This is a great... And I wish you the best of luck with
Thank you.
Outlandish Attire, because this is a great business. And what you're doing here with the Idea Center is definitely going to help you. Thanks, Susie. But you can see more of what Khaileb is doing on his Instagram account. And throughout the week, we'll be posting some awesome stuff he's got going. We've got some artwork we're going to show.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll get to see what he's doing more and more. And if you'd like something specific, reach out to him and let him know.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Khaileb. And good luck with everything.
Thank you.